blustery wind and grey crashing waves. Welcome to the beaches of Zandvoort. All eyes were on these guys as the press came to the coast to meet the drivers. And the conditions were perfect for blow-karting.
It's a pretty simple concept. If you get up on two wheels, you let the rope go, it slows down a bit and you fall. You fall back onto three.
The difficult thing is to find the wind, but after a few laps around, you catch it, so it was good.
But drivers are competitive, and it wasn't long before the race was on. And it was local hero Jeroen Blekemolen who took the honours on home sand.
It was a rough race, you know, it was a little bit of unfair play, I think, not very sportsmanlike, and I tried to make a move and it didn't quite all turn out the way I was hoping.
Sometimes the car coming with two wheels just, but I controlled them after I learned, so it's okay.
Khalil, my teammate, was coming across from the opposite direction. I didn't know which way to go. We ended up colliding wheels.
It's quite good to know the other drivers outside motorsport, you know, it's like we are always fighting all together, so when we can be together like this outside, it's a bit better.
It was my first time blow karting, so it was, even though I was born here, I have never done that, and Jeroen had an edge on me there, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, to be honest, I've done it one time before, so I had a little bit of a practice, but we were all quite close together.
Prague is one of the most historic cities in Europe and was the starting point for this week's adventure with the drivers. And the media focus was very much on the local heroes, the Czech drivers, as they boarded the train for Brno. Another motorsport hero, Emerson Fittipaldi, also took the chance to hitch a lift, along with Czech superstar Thomas Enger. They even got the chance to drive one of the few things they'd never driven before.
100 miles per hour, not very good visibility, but I'm a very good navigator and driver.
Back in Brno, the atmosphere was building up. The fans turned up in the centre of town to see their heroes, and the grid girls proved popular too for both fans and drivers alike. The locals enjoyed the carnival, taking the chance to get some autographs and souvenirs. And the drivers enjoyed the fun before the hard work really starts.
It's great to be back in Brno. The crowd were fantastic last year, and hopefully they'll get a bigger and better crowd this year.
First time for me with A1 in Brno, and it's a special atmosphere down here, so I'm looking forward to the race.
A big crowd here and nice cars, so I think it will be a good weekend.
A lot of people come here to see the driver. It's very good for the A1, and then gives me a good support. I think it's good.
They obviously like the cars and they like the sound, and it's nice to see the atmosphere.
Celebrating 50 years of independence, Malaysia is a country of stunning scenery. So to get a closer look, the A1GP drivers took one of Malaysian Air System's many flights throughout the world from Kuala Lumpur to the island of Borneo. The drivers landed into a wet and wild rainforest. A1 Team Lebanon's Khalil Bashir did all the driving, whilst the others enjoyed a glimpse of the tropical landscape. Eventually, they reached the tranquil setting of the Rasa Ria Resort in Kota Kinabalu. This peaceful location has not always been this way, and in recent years was hit by Tropical Storm Greg. As part of A1GP's Think Greener campaign, the drivers took the opportunity to each plant a tree.
We can go to the plant site.
A range of local species, including papayas, were planted in this soon-to-be rainforest. This area is a relatively young jungle, and efforts are being made to replace some of the loss caused by both Mother Nature and humans. But the main reason for the driver's visit was to come face to face with one of the most endangered animals in the world, the orangutan. In Malay, it translates as man of the forest. They live in Southeast Asia on the islands of Borneo and Indonesia. And despite being protected, today there are just 27,000 left in the world. The drivers had a mixture of anticipation and excitement as they climbed into the rainforest to watch these amazing animals.
We have beautiful jungles here. We have the oldest jungle in the world. So this is very much Malaysia to be out here in the jungle, you know, and obviously the orangutans here are, you know, you can only get them here in the island of Borneo. So it's special to be here.
It's very exciting, it's very fun to be in here. So it's, I know the orangutan is from the Sumatra, so it's very good.
Well, actually I thought they would be bigger, but they are the babies ones. It's good, we are not scared, we are scared to go in. But now it's cool, you can see how they are playing around and look how they are eating, it's quite funny.
This jungle is pretty much the last place you can find them in the wild, so you know, it's actually a privilege for all of us here from A1 to see them. As you can, I'm going to get out of here.
Luckily for Team Lebanon, they don't eat drivers. And to finish an amazing day, each of the teams adopted one of the baby orangutans to support the rehabilitation before one day being released back to the wild. Although Team Brazil have other ideas.
We will educate him to help the team change the tires also, but no, it's very nice to help this thing and take care about the monkeys.
Cooking and drivers. Not two ingredients that would normally go together.
Oh, that feels good.
But some of the A1 GP drivers got the opportunity to move their flair from the car to the kitchen and learn an old Chinese recipe at the same time.
Bring on the waffle fries.
Dim sum or Chinese dumplings are delicate little parcels filled with shrimp, or that is how they should look.
Then you put the shrimp and the bamboo shoot into the skin. Pay close attention to here. You have to make some
The art of making
strings
dim
on the
sum
skin
goes back
to make it
thousands of
beautiful.
years and is now one of the region's favourite foods and has become a cooking tradition.
3, 2, 1, start!
And when the chef had shown how things should be done, the drivers got their opportunity to try to make their own. But it wasn't just for pride, it was for prizes too. Some A1 chefs were better than others, but the concentration was impressive and it was a good job because the dim sum had all to be eaten by media and guests.
We decided to go for quality rather than quantity. I'm actually quite happy with what we achieved here. I think you know, this is definitely a future in the making if I want to take it out, that's for sure.
It's terrible. It's difficult to make a dim sum.
And once the delicate dumplings had been made, it was time for the steaming to start. The dim sum, all in the individual countries' boxes, headed for the kitchen for the final step. But who would become the A1 GP dim sum champion and who would simply be a dumpling? It was time for the journalists to decide and to stick their vote on the driver.
Come on, someone, this one's for you. You must give me your ticket.
Alright, not bad. Not
If it tastes like it looks, then I'm worried. Not bad.
Some more? Who wants some more? Everyone,
So the winners of today's competition is China! Warm welcome! China, Chinese team, good job!
Making tumbling has been a great fun and it's a great experience, and it's certainly not easy, and personally I prefer driving than making the dumpling.
Look how many stickers we have and how many stickers the other have.
Switzerland.
So who's the winner? Who do you think is the winner?
Who is the best?
Who's the best? Who's your daddy?
Auckland International Airport and the A1 GP car. The runway was going to be the scene for the fast and the furious, one of the biggest modes of transport against one of the quickest cars around. And with planes landing every 3 minutes, there was no time for error for either the Air New Zealand 777 plane or A1GP's Team New Zealand and its captain, Johnny Reid.
We've got one shot at it, so it is pretty cutthroat, and there's a lot of tension right now, I've got to say, because we must get everything right. It's not my normal routine, so yeah, a little bit of nerves there, and as long as we get the right radio call at the right time, it'll all work out okay.
Doors to manual, clearance to fly, and time to race. The Black Beauty was directed onto the runway. The 777 was waiting to take off. But who would be the fastest pilot?
So here we are, all set for the drag race between the largest twin-jet commercial airliner in the world, the 777, and the A1 GP car with Johnny Reid at the wheel.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
It's race on, all of the little wheel spin there from Johnny Reid. He tries to get away, applying all 550 horsepower. He's on the power boost trying to beat the 777. He's on the taxiway, parallel to the 777 on the wrong way, but the 777's just ahead. It's going to win this first contest. The 777 up into the air, and the A1 GP car is beaten.
So 1-0 to the flying machine, but there was one more chance for Johnny to beat the bird.
It's time for the rematch now. Johnny Reid is very fired up. He didn't like losing. He wants to win this contest.
Go.
Away we go, and he's got a good start this time. Look at the A1 GP car. The Black Beauty is flying and gets an initial advantage. Now, 90,000 pounds of force from the engines in that 777. I don't know it's going to be enough though, because the A1 GP car's ahead and wins the second contest.
It's going to be a good handshake here.
Mate, 1 all, is it?
1 all, mate.
That was great.
It was fantastic.
Fantastic, you did a great job.
I was on the limiter pretty much halfway down the runway, and I wasn't going to lift off. I was just quite relaxed, enjoying the scenery as I went past. Had to look up to see the 777. Didn't know where it was at one point, but to top it off with those donuts at the end, just what an experience.
A relaxing morning on the beautiful lake at Taupo.
It's Skipper Reid to you, thank you.
Some of the drivers took the opportunity to take in some amazing scenery and try to catch some fish, but that was always going to be the hard part.
You'll see the line tip come bobble and then come up straight, so that's what you're looking for, major movement in the rod tip, and the chances are there is a trout there.
It's a patience game here today though.
Friends of my dad's are really passionate about deep sea fishing, so whenever I get the chance to go with them, I accompany them. I'm not the greatest, but I think I can do pretty good.
But on the other boat, they seem to be having much more luck with the elusive trout.
Like that.
And it was Malaysian rookie driver Aaron Lim who got the first catch of the day.
Hold on a second, was it my fish?
No.
In the water.
Yeah!
Yeah!
It's massive!
No, I've done it once before, but it was like 10 years back, so it's quite fun to actually catch one now. Probably the biggest fish I've caught in my life.
Malaysia, though, weren't the only talented fishermen.
I caught one. You caught one? Come on, you got one to the top.
Now I can feel it.
South Africa's Adrian Zout caught 2 fish, but each one was too small and had to be thrown back into the lake.
Too small, no?
People that were working there just told me, okay, you have a fish, and all I was doing is just pulling it in, but it was great fun.
You know, I'm just stoked that we've had such a fantastic day out here and everyone's enjoyed catching fish but me.
And as the boats came back to dock, the press and dignitaries were waiting for the catch of the day and the drivers, but it wasn't too difficult to give the prize.
That's a prime example of a taupo trout.
The only fish to come back to shore was with Aaron Lim.
Good one. Thank you. Congratulations, buddy.
Driver
drivers are used to facing their fears, but how would they react coming into contact with Australia's most fierce and fluffy creatures?
Can we touch it? Oh man, he's angry. Okay, he's giving me the eye now. Is it a boy or a girl?
This is a girl, but the boys and girls look just the same.
Not a real big fan of these things, but they can bite.
No way. I'm scared from that. I say it.
Elsewhere, things seemed much more tranquil underwater.
Welcome to Manly Ocean World. We're going to be walking along the inside.
But could these drivers look a shark in the eye with no cage and no protection from those razor-sharp teeth?
Just really impressive, as you can see.
You died before?
And despite what they said, it was clear to see some nerves setting in.
I'm sort of a little bit mixed about it all because I've seen how big the teeth are on the sharks, and they're pretty intimidating animals, that's for sure.
I'm looking forward to it. You don't get to swim with sharks every day.
A quick lesson, but the drivers would need animal instinct to survive.
The biggest scare I had was when we were actually getting out. I didn't realize that I put my hand down and it was on a stingray.
I'm waiting in line to come back through into the little pool here, and I wasn't sort of looking, and a turtle just swam straight into me and smacked me on the mast, so sort of gave me a bit of a wake-up call. It was awesome, absolutely loved it.
It's like being on a Mars or somewhere on a different planet. That's very, very good. Nice and relaxing, actually. So, good experience.
When you're outside the tanks, they look smaller, and when you're inside in the water, they definitely look bigger. The teeth look bigger and meaner.
Children are our future. That is one of the many messages that South Africans pride themselves on. Some of the A1GP drivers visited a care centre run by Food for Africa, which looks after disadvantaged children.
Welcome to Mount Moriah. This place is called Mount Moriah. And to you guys who come from over the seas, welcome to South Africa.
Before the hard work and play began, the drivers left a few signed souvenirs for the children. And in the classroom, the children were given a lesson on being a racing driver by one of South Africa's best.
Because underneath this we wear underwear that's fireproof as well. It's very hot, especially to wear it in these conditions, like the weather we have here. It's very, very hot.
Some drivers took a different approach to showing the kids how they spend their time. South Africa holds football's World Cup in 2010, so it was time for a little practice.
It's three of us against all of you. All of you.
And where the children like to spend most of their playtime needed a little colour, so who better to help them?
Get it on my face and I'll paint your whole body.
You know, it's a good experience to come and see the kids. You know, we're all very lucky to be able to race cars for a living and, you know, do what we do. So, you know, it's nice to come here and meet the kids.
It's just great to be here, to be honest, and meet the children. They've all got such characters, and we've had a great time playing football with them.
It's just great to see them and give them a good time. I think they deserve having fun as well, and I'm just glad to be here and spending time with them, and glad to be in Durban.
In contrast, drivers have a much more privileged life. And after seeing the work of Mount Moriah, A1 GP gave the children a chance to come to the track. And the drivers who met the children at the centre caught up with them in the pit lane.
It's a pleasure to have them here today so they can see what we're all about here in A1 and how much fun we get to have in the race cars.
Yeah, that's fantastic to see all the children here, after having the opportunity to meet them, to see what great work they do, to actually see them here, give them the opportunity to see what we do.
And to top off a special day, they met their local hero.
That's very nice. I'm sure they're all very excited, to hear all this noise, the engine, to see the car here. It's very nice to see them all here and all happy faces.
It's been an exciting week for the children and a pretty humbling one for the drivers. The Golden Sands of Durban hosted a beach race with teams made up of A1 GP drivers, local lifeguards and the Natal Sharks rugby players.
No rules. No rules.
Last man standing.
Yeah, I think we have to run up anti-clockwise. Or maybe it's clockwise, I don't know.
He's not sure.
I'm not sure yet. I will have to slipstream somebody and then beat them right at the last minute.
Team number 2.
Okay, team number 2. Marcel.
Then I have to touch my ski paddler on the shoulder and he will then paddle off somewhere into the sea. And then it's down to my teammate.
First were the drivers, who had the easiest task, or so it seemed, a race in the sand. So far, Jonathan Somerton and South Africa's Wesley Orr were the quickest. The lifeguards, though, well, they had the toughest job, canoeing into the massive South African surf.
The waves are a little bit intense, I think.
We're going well, we're out in the lead.
And then it was the turn of the Sharks as they took to the seas, the rugby boys battling against the waves.
Tough seas, eh? Very, very rough. How was it? Very, very tough. Can't get in, can't get out.
And after another run, it was victory for Team 2.
Yeah, for the Team Switzerland was a good start, and now it's Neil, Johnny to do the rest.
Good fun on the beach and to win as well. It's a good start to the weekend and hopefully we can keep that up.
Next came the flag relay. Basically, last to grab their stick from the sand got eliminated. Jonathan Somerton finished as best A1 GP driver in 3rd place.
It was a lot of fun, definitely, getting to race against the lifeguards, Got a little tricked out at the end, but, it was good fun. 3rd place, I'm pretty happy.
Trophies were presented to the winners of the Tapman team event, featuring A1 GP's Adam Carroll, Jonathan Cauchy and Marcel Fasler, and to Jonathan Somerton for his exploits in the sand. Some places have seen true sporting history, and this is one of them. The Azteca Stadium in Mexico City is the only stadium to host 2 World Cup finals and was the scene of Diego Maradona's famous Hand of God goal at the 1986 World Cup finals. This time, though, it was the World Cup of motorsport drivers against former World Cup players, and tensions were running high in the changing room before they took to the hallowed turf. Local driver David Garza was relishing playing in the stadium for its history. The other drivers for the amazing opportunity. But all of a sudden, things looked a little tougher with the arrival of the former Mexican players. And there was still time for a little fun though, before a quick stretch and some last-minute training tips. Just like the moments before a race, spirits were positive and what's to come was there to be won, although it was never going to be easy and some drivers were going to struggle.
Are you ready to play soccer? Okay? Okay.
Unsurprisingly, the Mexican players won 5-2 against the drivers. But the lucky goal scorers got a little memento for their efforts at one of the world's most famous stadiums.
It was good fun. Shame we lost, but no, it was good fun, and it's a great event, really.
Of course, football is very famous in France, as we won the World Cup in 1998. And but in my family, we never played football. For me, it was maybe the third time of my life I played football, but that was really fun.
It's a great stadium, and it has some history, as I heard also. That was the '86, the famous goal of Maradona was here too. So that's pretty special.
2 World Cups here and the famous hand of God over here, so it's great just to be here. First time playing on a proper pitch, so it's exciting.
To come here and play a little bit of soccer with the guys in such a renowned stadium, it's really special, you know. Looking around, you look up top and it's just massive. You can imagine what it would feel like playing here with a full stadium.
Gracias.
China is famous for its old traditions and cultures, and these games are still played in schools and towns throughout the country. The children made the games look very easy, but the drivers showed just how difficult they really were as they took part in a pre-competition practice. The Grand Master of the games was China driver Frankie Cheng.
So the first sports event is skipping, and all kids will learn that in junior school. And the key of doing it well is not to jumping too high.
The drivers made the quaint sport of skipping look like a very dangerous activity. The winner of the event was Adam Carroll.
We did some good skipping there, and I quite like the idea of boxing training, and I like all that, so I might take it up after the strong performance this weekend.
Couldn't stop from laughing when we were doing it.
Yeah, it's not so easy. You have to look each other in the eye so close and so close that, you know, it's difficult to stay serious.
The second event is shuttlecock, and the key of playing it well is to use your side of the foot.
The shuttlecock kicking proved trickier than it looked.
I think it was a good experience. Brazil has this culture about football things and soccer, so it was good to win this game.
Yeah, the Diablo is the third event of the day, and it's going to be very difficult, and it's very important to test the driver's coordination and the technique.
Diablo could be as easy or as difficult as the drivers made it. Some drivers, though, were given the chance to show off.
I played when I was a kid with the Diablo, because when I was going to with my friends in school, everyone was playing with this, so of course I wanted to be one of the best, so I still have some skills from that time.
But controversially, writing his own success was Lebanon's Khalil Bashir.
They are bad losers, you know, and they were surprised because Lebanon never won, and end of the year it comes and we won something. They were surprised, I guess, but you know, they have to be better losers next time.
Cricket is a quintessentially English sport, so the drivers made a trip to Kent County Cricket Club to take on some of their academy players. Local driver Robbie Kerr took on the role of team captain.
Heads. I think we shall field first.
Okay. Have a good game.
Andy.
I think they're going to dominate and smack a few sixes and make us look like idiots, really.
Khalil Bashir was chosen as wicketkeeper.
Yeah, and then when the ball comes towards them, they come up.
Kent were first into bat, but bowling for the drivers was much more difficult than it looked. Catching the ball proved a bit tricky too.
You know, catching the ball comes pretty quick, and it's heavy, and you know, I don't really want to break any fingers this weekend.
We don't even know the sport, we don't have a team. Nobody plays it in Switzerland.
Well, I don't think we could bowl fast enough. I think Adrian Zaug was our best bowler. You know, it was more of a competition who could stay on their feet in the wet grass as well, so thoroughly enjoyable experience.
It was then time for the drivers to get ready to bat and get kitted out. Some drivers were a bit confused exactly where to put the equipment, and then it was time to learn the rules.
Outside. If it goes over the rope, it's 4. If it hits the ground, if it goes over the rope without bouncing, it's 6. There we go.
India is steeped in cricket history, but how good would they be today?
So I'm Tendulkar and you're Ganguly.
First glance, the drivers started off in promising fashion. But it wasn't long before Kent turned the pressure on and the wickets started to fall.
The bowler who we had against us, you know, put some spin on it and whatnot. And it was a little bit harder than I expected.
The batting's quite hard. You can imagine when they really, you know, want to, you know, put full steam into it. It would be, you know, just over 90 miles an hour. I think nearly 100. I wouldn't really want to be on the end of that. The old guard come in pretty handy.
Thanks for showing us how to do it properly.
It's been a pleasure having you guys here today. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And Ken?
The drivers presented a signed bat to the cricket club.
And,
Fantastic.
Thank you.